Hello, everybody. This is Jack Jackson, Manufacturers Daily for May 6th. Got some topics to cover today. First one is about the tariff shocks. It was a one-year study done by RBC Economics, the Government of Canada. Got some stats to show you there. Number two is about our recently announced yesterday tariff relief program the Canadian government put out for steel, aluminum, and copper manufacturers. And number three is our CUSMA renewal odds. Not looking good. All right, this is Jack Jackson, Manufacturers Daily. Let's get into it. So 1 year ago today, the tariff war between Canada and the U.S. really took off. So RBC Economics has released its 12-month assessment, and it's a little, well, I would say we got to read into the numbers as always. So what they're saying is that the overall exports are down to the U.S., but the exports to other countries are up and sort of a wash. But when you really look into the numbers, so exports to the U.S. fell $29 billion in 2025, and the exports to non-U.S. rose to 27 billion more. Or no, rose to 27 billion. So it sounds like basically it's a wash. 29 billion lost to 27 billion. But if you strip out the price of gold, so something as a manufacturer that I've lived through this last year, I didn't know that we had so much gold that we export, and the price went up 42%. So masking that, actually gold of the 27 billion that we shipped across to other countries except the US, 14 billion of that was gold. So really, we lost 29 billion to the US, and we only gained 13 billion to other countries if you take out the gold price. And unfortunately, that was not steel, aluminum, and forest products, auto parts, or consumer goods that did that well out of these numbers. So full detail will be in the newsletter on Sunday. But just read through the numbers. There's too many numbers for my head to actually let you digest. If you're like me when you're listening and going, what number did you say here, there? So we'll put it in the newsletter. You can find it online, I'm sure, if you go search for it. But yeah, we lived the steel, aluminum, and tariff dispute firsthand, and I tell you, navigating through this as a manufacturer, consumer goods, whichever, food didn't seem to be hurt as much for the last year, but everything that we did got slammed, and I'm sure if you're a manufacturer like us, small, medium, you're getting slammed now as everything's changing. Story number two was Canada announced a $1.5 billion relief package for manufacturers of specialty steel, aluminum, and copper, because they're getting hit the worst right now, as we talked about yesterday, for the tariff. But it's $1 billion through the BDC, Business Development Bank of Canada, which was a great arm for us to help out, especially in the beginning. Interest rates are a little bit higher than the bank, but I'll tell you, they're great people to work with and really helped us over the years. But here's a deal on the $1 billion that is offered to manufacturers. It's a three-year repayment, though it says at preferential rates. A preferential rate in free BDC would probably just be market rate. But we'll have to see. So that's $1 billion, and there's a $500 million relief tariff response initiative for small, medium enterprises that is available, but I don't understand exactly what that details yet, but we'll get more into that. So anyways, look for that. I'll have more in the newsletter again on Sunday. But as I obviously understand going through the bureaucracy of getting any of these loans and such, especially if you're not a BDC customer. I'm sure if we were always offered loans from BDC. They always worked with us good. It was a matter of getting set up with them and running a history. So I'm sure if you have a history, but like anything was, as a small business owner like me, it's like I'm going to take on more debt. I need to solve the problem. I don't, you want me to take on more debt to keep going and I got to start repaying this. I only have 3 years. Um, I don't know what problem I'm solving. I'm taking more debt. So anyways, that's for everybody else to understand. It was tough for me at times, exactly through COVID. Obviously, I kept taking on more debt to keep the company going, and then at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, I've got so much debt. I've paid everybody, but I'm not. Uh, anyways, you guys know that story for anybody that's a small medium business. And the last one is story 3 is on our CUSMA renewal odds. Well, Wall Street firm Jeffries has put the numbers of the 3 possible outcomes for CUSMA. 10% probability that we have a clean renewal for 16 years. A 75% probability that the annual review will be in limbo. There will be no clean renewal and the agreement stays in force, but uncertainty continues for 10 years till 2036. 10 years of uncertainty. And a 15% possibility of complete withdrawal from CUSMA, which I can't see that happening. But as I said, we were CUSMA authenticated everything. We had no issues for 30 years of plus of shipping, and we got hammered. So that's why I'm here. Want to make sure you guys know, clean up your scenarios. As we got here is clean up your CUSMA certificates to stay valid. We weren't. And we learned our lesson, and we learned a lot. That's why we're here to help you. Scenario B: make sure you have an annual review. Make sure that your agreement stays in force and all the originals are updated, because products that qualified last year may not qualify next year. So you need to redo it every 5 years, every year, not every 5 years. And scenario 3 is CUSMA preferred rates sometimes disappeared. Your goods could face tariff charges from default companies that have agreements, don't have agreements. These change constantly. Importing, exporting. Again, we can help on all that stuff. So we went through it all, and that's what we're here for. We have a complimentary 30-minute phone call that we can do with you, and we have a discovery phase. We have phase 1. If we go to that different phases, it's all on our website, USMCA solved.com or CUSMA-solved.com. When we can help out. So that's what it is up to date today. Thanks for listening. It's Jack Jackson, Manufacturers Daily. Have a good day.